on, guys? What's going on, Tech Squad? What's going on, everybody? Ty here with another video. So, Bronny is going to work out for three teams now. He is working out. We already know that he's working out for the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers. There are one more team in the mix for Bronny, and I'm going to get into my take in a second about this. Um, the third team is the Toronto Raptors. Now, and I think when we look at Bronny, um, we already seen what he can do. Like we seen his um highlights from seventh grade to eighth grade to high school. And we seen him play a couple of games in college. Now, I don't get why I don't get why a lot of people I don't get why a lot of people are saying this about Bronny. Is that we didn't see him play a full season or a lot of games. He played some games. He played some games. Because every when let me get this straight for you. Let me get this straight and make take my take here. Is that I think every year when these mock drafts come out or when different draft classes come out, it's tough for these guys because you don't know when you enter the draft, you don't know where you're basically going, which team you're going to be drafted to. Like we don't know. I think it's easier on some draft classes because you already know where you're projected to go. But for some, it's probably hard. It's probably hard because then once you decide to inquire for the draft, you're projected to go anywhere. But I think it's hard on draft classes and rookies because when they when you look at the mock drafts because when mock drafts come out we don't know where these college players or where these players are going to a NBA team. We do not know. But for Bronny, a lot of people are saying, some people are saying that we haven't seen him play a lot of games in college. We haven't seen him play a lot of games in college. But I am going to say this: we've seen him play a lot of games in high school, and through we've seen his middle school highlights tapes and in his high school highlight tapes, and he only played a couple of games in college. We already know what Bronny can do. He has a good IQ on the game and a good, and he likes to get his teammates involved. And I think if you draft Bronny, or if you, here's two things that I'm about to say. You draft, you can, when you draft Bronny, you're either getting Bronny or you're either getting a Brian James and Bronny on your team. But if you get Bronny, I'm just going to say this: if you get Bronny, you're getting somebody with a good IQ, with a good IQ on the game. Like I said, that can he likes to share the ball with his teammates because we seen his highlights in middle school. We seen his highlights in high school, and we seen um his some of his games in college for USC, and we've seen what he did in the draft combine. We've seen what he did in the draft combine. I think to me, that proves me what Bronny can do at the NBA level. That proves to me what he can do at the NBA level. Now, now I think what some people are saying is that is that they haven't seen Bronny play a lot of college ball, a lot of college basketball. Yes, he didn't play. He played some with an injury. So you can't say, well, we didn't see Bronny play a lot of college games in college, so we don't know. You seen his highlight clips from middle school, his highlight clips from high school. You seen we seen he played a couple of games with USC this college season before he entered the draft. We seen we seen we seen what he can do in the draft combine. That's all I need to. That's that's my take. That proves to me that Bronny's ready to play at the NBA level. That's all. That proves to me that that's what it takes for for a player to me to play at an NBA level. Uh, I don't see why some people want to see other college players play more games. Like if they're injured or out for the rest of the season in college, you should not put that. You should not. You should not put. You should. You should. People are going to say that. Let me rephrase that. People are going to say that. But I think you should not put that on Bronny saying that he only played a few college games, and you should not put that on Bronny. You should not. Um, you should not. But he is working out for the Toronto Raptors and the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, when I look at that, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that if you get Bronny or you get both LeBron James and Bronny, if you get Bronny, you're definitely going to win a championship in a few years. In my opinion, you're going to win a championship with Bronny. Whoever drafts him, because he's going to go, he's projected to go 55 to the Lakers. If the Lakers take him, because the Lakers are looking at the Lakers are looking for a new head coach. But if the Lakers take him in the second round, like the draft is 2 days now. It's 2 days now, and it's this week. The draft is this week. So whoever takes Bronny is going to win a championship in a few years. Um, but we have seen a lot of second rounders, like Jimmy Butler, for example. Um, Jimmy Butler, for example. Jimmy Butler, for example. Draymond Green, Udonis Haslem. Um, a bunch of second rounders. Those are just three that I can name. Um, but we see, like, I can go down the list. Like, just look at the second rounders that came out of the draft years. just look at the second rounders that came out of the draft years ago. You have Draymond Green, like I said, whose his career has has had Draymond Green's career has been a good career for him because he had four championships. He made four or five champion finals appearances. He was the second 35 overall pick. Like Draymond Green has had a good career, and Jimmy Butler has had a good career as well because Jimmy Butler came was the second rounder pick too, and made the finals with the Miami Heat twice. So and Udonis Haslam, second round pick, um, has probably three or two championships. When we look at those kind of guys, and we look at where Bronny is projected to go, the draft is 2 days now. It's it's a 2 day draft. So I do see now that I'm here, now that we know that he's working out for the Phoenix Suns, Los Angeles Lakers, and and the Toronto Raptors, whoever gets Bronny, you're going to win a championship. In my case, you're going to win a championship if you get Bronny, or get if you get if you get LeBron James and Bronny. Because we all know that LeBron wants to play against his against Bronny or with Bronny. But I definitely think in my case, this is just my case and my take. I think what we've seen Bronny do, like we've seen his highlights from middle school to high school, and now we've seen some college games, and we've seen what he can do. We've seen the draft combine game that he did. I can say that that's enough for me to say that Bronny's ready the the NBA. That's enough for me to say for Bronny that he's ready for the NBA level. But when we look at, like I said, when we look at the second round pitch, Draymond Green, you guys had look at the second round picks that came out years. Draymond Green, um, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, Udonis Haslam. When we look at those kind of guys, look at their careers and look at their careers. Draymond Green again, four-time champion, made four or five uh, finals appearances. Has a defense player of the year. Look at Jimmy Butler. He made it 2 times. Was the 30? Was
What's
the
going on,
30?
everybody?
So big news in the NBA. A trade just went down. Alex Caruso is on his way to the OKC Thunder for Josh Giddey. This is very interesting. Now the Oka, now the OKC Thunder did make the um, West Conference Finals. Did the OKC Thunder did make the second round? They did make the playoffs. This trade is kind of interesting to me. This trade is kind of interesting to me because why would you give up Josh Giddey? Why would you give up Josh Giddey if you had defense, if you had defense already, why would you why would you give up? Why would you give up? Why would the OKC Thunder give up Josh Giddey for to get Alex Caruso? I think this trade is very interesting because when we look at it, when I look at it, JJ Redick, JJ, I mean, when I look at it, when I look at it, I see I see Alex Caruso won a championship with the Lakers. Won a championship with the Lakers. So I wouldn't be surprised if the OKC Thunder wins the championship next year because they got a defensive a defense player. You're adding more defense to 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 your team. And what does this mean for Chicago? Chicago, on the other hand, you got Lonzo Ball, you got Evan. I think the Bulls are going into rebuild mode now. I think the Bulls are going into rebuild mode because of Lonzo's coming back, and we don't know what the lineup will be. We don't know if Lonzo's going to ask for a buyout, or going to ask for a buyout, or going to ask for a trade. We don't know what Lonzo Ball is going to do there. But now that Josh Giddey is on the Bulls, that probably I can see from the Bulls side of things. Hey, I'll trade give us Josh Giddey. Probably the Bulls will run probably a lineup like the Dallas Mavericks did this NBA like we saw the Dallas run this past season with 3 point guards in a lineup. Probably the Bulls will do something like that. But this is very interesting because Alex Caruso, he was a part of that 2020 um, playoff team for the Lakers. He has a championship. I wouldn't be surprised the if OKC wins the championship next year with this trade. If OKC Thunder wins the championship because they traded for Alex Caruso, which Alex Caruso, he's a he's a good role player. He he won a championship. He won a championship with the Lakers, so he can play his role. The big thing is now that Alex Caruso, he can either start or come off the bench or come off or be a decent role player for you coming off the bench. Um, I think this is an interesting trade. I think this is an interesting trade because because when you look at it, it might go down as trades and histories that we sing. Because it looks like a good trade for the OKC Thunder because the Bulls did not make the playoffs. The Bulls did not make the playoffs that this past year. I do think it's a good trade for both sides, but we will just have to see how this will turn out. But Josh Giddy, you're getting a six six Josh Giddy, you're getting somebody that's taller that can. What is next for the Cowboys? What's going on, guys? What is going on, everybody? What is next for the Cowboys? Now, as a Browns fan, I know that I talk about the Browns on my channel, but what about the Cowboys? What are the Cowboys going to do? The Cowboys, you still got C.D. Lamb and Zach and Prescott. It's just going to be kind of hard to win because C.J. Lamb, and Prescott are both up for a contract, and if one of these guys don't get a contract deal, like the Cowboys are still going to be the Cowboys. Like the Cowboys let Ezekiel Elliott walk. Let Ezekiel Elliott walk. Like if you let either Prescott or C.D. Lamb walk, I would say the Dallas Cowboys are going to go back into a rebuild mode where they really are starting over. Because you got Zach Prescott who's in a contract year, you got CJ Lamb who's in a contract year. If I would say Dallas should sign both of these guys because from a standpoint, or they missed out on a bunch of pieces. They did not sign anybody. They drafted Bronny. They drafted Connect. They drafted Bronny. They drafted the rookie from Tennessee. So what are they going to do next? With JJ Redick as the new head coach, I would say the Lakers can still win a championship. Like you got Bronny, you got Anthony Davis, you got Connect, like you got all of those guys, but you missed out on a lot of free agents. And LeBron took a 2-year, $104 million contract. So how are you going to figure out what's going to be next for the Lakers here to do? The Lakers are either going to make the play-in tournament or win a championship. Because if Bronny and LeBron and AD win a championship, we can all say that LeBron won a championship with his son, which he might do. But at the end of the day, we have to say right now, like, what's next for the Lakers? What are the Lakers going to do?
Are the Lakers going to be good this year? Are they going to be a playing team? Because you've been a playing team the last couple of seasons, and you won a championship in 2020 in the bubble season. So, and you drafted Bronny this year. You drafted Connect this year. So basically, like, what are you? You missed out on Clay. You missed out on James Harden. You missed out on DeRozan, who signed with the Kings. So you missed out on all of those pieces. What are the Lakers going to do next at this point? I think the Lakers, what they can do next is probably sign anybody or wait for the trade market to trade for somebody or wait for the buyout market to happen because Lonzo Ball will be on the is going to be a free agent and going to be in the buyout market. Like the new CBA rules and the new CBA rules are interesting, but for the Lakers, what are you going to do next? Are you going to re-sign your key guys? Like you still got AD, you got Bron for 2 more years, you got Bronny for 4 years. Um, so what? Like Bron and Bronny are going to be a first son and father duo to ever play in the NBA. If they win a championship together, then we can all say Bron won a championship.
So, where will Paul George go in free agency? Will he shake up the whole free agency plan? Plan? Will he shake up the whole free agency? I'm going to say he will because I'm going to say three teams that I think he's going a couple of teams that I think he's going to go to from the East Conference that I think he's going to go to. I think Paul George will probably go to. I basically don't see Paul George resign. I can see him probably resigning with the Clippers, but would you? Kawhi played 40 games this season. Kawhi played 40 or 60 games this season for the Clippers with Paul George. So, and Kawhi likes to sit out. So I think what Paul George wants is to win a championship and add that to his career. I think he wants to win a championship. And when I look at certain teams that possibly would like Paul George, because I'm not counting out, like, I'm not saying Kawhi isn't a good player. He plays some, he plays, he plays games. He shows up and plays in the game, but he sits out some games. And I feel like to carry the low to carry for him to not carry the team that much because I think this season Paul George carried the Clippers all the way. Like you can say, no, what about Kawhi? Kawhi did play a lot of a lot of the games. He played like 40 games this year. But Paul George played more than Kawhi, and I do think it's time for a change. In my opinion, it's time. I do see Paul George probably shaking up the free agency somehow because this free agency class, you got James Harden, you got Russell Westbrook, you got Klay Thompson, and you got Chris Paul possibly in this free agency class. So I can see Paul George going to that. I can see either Paul George re-signing with the Clippers. That's the only team I can see him re-signing with. If he re-signs with the Clippers, you still got Kawhi, and the Clippers got their new stadium. The Clippers got their own stadium now. So if Paul George signs back there, he gets to play in the new Clippers arena with Kawhi. But I do see Paul George shaking it up a little bit. I do see him. I kind of see Paul George going back to the East Conference. The three teams that I can see him going to in the East is the 76ers, the Bucks probably, and Miami, and probably one more, Boston. I can see probably Boston in that mix coming in that mix for Paul George because of the way Paul George um is the way probably Paul George wants to go play with Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown. But I can see in the West, I can either see him re-signing with the Clippers, like I said. I can see Paul George doing something like that, but I think the best fit for Paul George, the best fit for Paul George is the Los Angeles Clippers. I mean, it's the 76ers because you have Embiid, you have Terrence Maxey over there, and you have Embiid. I think Embiid wants a championship, and I think if you add Paul George to the 76ers, they're probably easily, like, I'm not going to leave out my Cavs or Boston or Miami or Milwaukee or the Sixers. I'm going to say the Sixers are honestly a contender team, and possibly if you add somebody like Paul George, you could make the NBA Finals. So I would say the best fit for Paul George is the um, 76ers. In other news, Chris Paul is interested in Chris Paul is interested here with another video. So big news is going on in the boxing world. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul will face off in boxing. And I think this is very interesting. This is very interesting because we all know that Mike Tyson is one is the greatest boxers, one of the greatest boxers ever. Unless you put Muhammad Ali in that discussion or any other boxer in that discussion, I'm going to say either Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson is the two greatest boxers of all time. Um, but this fight is definitely happening, and I don't know how many rounds they are going to fight in, but if it's 10 rounds, I can say exactly, um, if it's 10 rounds, I can say Mike Tyson will knock out Jake Paul in 10 rounds. I just think that it's going to go in 10 rounds because 10 rounds because Mike Tyson, for one, is a little bit older, and Jake Paul, on the other hand, is younger. So I can see the veteran knocking out Jake Paul. I can see that happening in this matchup. I can see this happening in this matchup, even though that Mike Tyson, like I said, is older. He has more experience, and a he has a better he has a better record than Jake Paul. Um, but it is interesting that Jake Paul chose or Mike Tyson chose to have this boxing match. But this fight will be kind of interesting to see. Kind of interesting to see because we don't know how many rounds they're going to fight in, but I can see probably Mike Tyson knocking Jake Paul out, or maybe it's going to be probably it's going to be a Easter fight where where they don't get knocked out, nobody knocks nobody out, and it's just going to be a fair fight. I definitely think Mike Tyson will knock Jake Paul out. I'm just going to be real with you. Um, but in other news, it has been 8 years since the Cavs have won their first NBA title. Um, it's been 8 years now. As a Cavs fan, I think that Cavs team was was a great Cavs team. I'm not saying that this Cavs team, the current Cavs team that we have, is a good is an awesome team. I think both Cavs teams are awesome, but I also think I also think that when our 2016 Cavs team came back down 3-1 and won that series, and that was the first time a team ever came back 3-1, 3-0, and I think Kyrie did hit Kyrie Irving did hit the biggest shot of his career, and I definitely think if we won the next year, I'm just saying if we won the next year and we didn't have to meet the Warriors in the NBA Finals, a second for a third straight year, I would say if we could have won probably two if we didn't have to face the Warriors and the Warriors didn't have to get Kevin Durant. I'm not counting out. I mean, I'm not saying that wasn't a good move for the Warriors. That was a good move by Kevin Durant going to the Warriors. But I can say as a Cavs fan, um, if we should have won two or three um, more championships with Kyrie and LeBron because I think if they won the next year, we would already see LeBron and Kyrie have three championships, one free together, and LeBron have probably like six or five championships and Kyrie have probably like three championships. But we will never know at this point. But we just have to be glad as Cavs fans that at least we have one title, at least we have one championship. Um, at least the Cavs have one championship. That championship team had uh had Richard Jefferson, had Amon Shumpert, had J.R. Smith, had pieces, and I think we should have won two more. Just in a Cavs opinion, a Cavs fan opinion, I think we should have won two more. But I honestly think um it's it's going to. I think this current Cavs team, I really hope we resign Donovan Mitchell. I really hope we resign Donovan Mitchell. We need that to happen. Um, I do think this current Cavs team can win a title like our 2016, like the 2016 Cavs um team because we almost made it to the conference finals this year. Um, but but like I said, the Cavs, the
Well,
Cavs
guys,
point. This is the last dance for Kenny, Shaq, Ernie, and Charles Barkley. This is probably an end of era because Charles Barkley is going to retire after this upcoming season for the NBA 2024-2025. Chuck is retiring after this season, and ABC is trying to buy the rights from TNT. So probably after this season, we won't see any more NBA games. After the 2024-2025, we will probably not see any more NBA games on TNT, and we will probably not see this core group again. I am going to miss seeing Chuck, Kenny, Ernie, and Shaq before every NBA game and after every NBA game talk about the game and what they want to see going into the game. I like Shaq and Chuck and Ernie and Kenny's Kenny how they all joke around together. I'm totally going to miss I'm totally going to miss inside the NBA and this kind of group because what they grew what they grew for what they did for the NBA as commentaries or as commentaries are amazing because they all came together. Yes, Chuck Shaq always joke about yes, Shaq jokes about how many rings he has with Chuck, and I'm just going to miss this core group calling this group this group calling talking about what they want to see before the game and what they thought about after the game. Yes, TNT has Draymond Green. Yes, TNT has. Yes, they have Candace Parker. Yes, they have Draymond Green for TNT. But I am going to miss this group because this group, Shaq, Ernie, and Kenny, and Chuck started the started this. We gotta give a lot of credit to Ernie Johnson and to King because they were the first two there before Shaq and Chuck got there. When Shaq and Chuck joined, that whole did not that it made it more of a good show for for people to watch. It made a good show for me to watch as well. But I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. I think we're going to miss this group calling the game before and after, and I'm. It's going to be tough not seeing inside the NBA after the 2024-2025 season for me. It's going to be hard to not see that. It's going to be hard not seeing the 20. Going not. It's going to be hard to see Shaq, Kenny, Chuck, and Ernie not calling the game or not hearing their thoughts before the game, not hearing their thoughts before the game or after the game, because this total duel, we will probably not see anybody else with with these four guys. We will probably not see t any other TV show like this kind of core ever again that calls the game well. But NBC is trying to buy the rights for TNT, and we will probably it has is going to be out for the rest of the season. She is going to be out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. Now this injury is serious for Cameron Wrench, and I hope she comes back 10 times, 100 times better next season in the WNBA for the Los Angeles Sparks because she was the second pick overall for the Sparks last this current last draft class. And I do think with her out, that's going to leave. That's going to kind of leave another opportunity for a different player on the Sparks now that she's out to the show. Um, but she she was the second pick overall, and I think when you look at she was the second pick overall, and I felt like the the Los Angeles Stars could make a playoff push. I think they can make a playoff push this this season. Um, either when Cameron Brent comes back, they can either make a playoff push again probably next season and still make a playoff push this season because I definitely think the Sparks when they drafted Cameron Branch that was a good pickup. That was a good pickup for the Stars. Um, but it's sad. It's sad to hear that she's going to be out for the rest of the season for the Los Angeles Sparks, and it's just sad when we see players like these go down with injuries, and she's a rookie in her rookie year going down with an injury. Like I said, I hope she comes back 10 times stronger, 10 times stronger from her ACL injury, but she's going to be out for the rest of the season. And I do think when she comes back or whenever she comes back, the Sparks will win a. I definitely think the Sparks will win a championship with Cameron Burch because I think the Sparks are building around her now. I think the Sparks are building around her now, and if your star player is out with an injury, that could hurt a team. That could hurt a team, and she's going to be missed for the rest of the season in the WNBA. Like I think she's going to be a great player for years to come. But guys, subbing here new. Thanks for listening, and I hope all of you guys are safe out there and never give up your dreams. And I'll see you guys in the next